Let's now zoom in on education matters. I want to take you to a quote from President Uhuru Kenyatta at today's conference. And he said, let us not focus on when schools will reopen, but how. And now the president's speech, which was widely expected to include the new date for reopening of schools, didn't quite do that. It left more questions than answers when he appeared to rule out any immediate resumption of face-to-face learning. He actually directed the Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, to release the new calendar, but only under strict health protocols. Dorcas Wangira now reports on the announcement that came as teachers streamed back to schools in readiness for the reopening.
Uncertainty continues to reign in the country's education sector as President Uhuru Kenyatta delayed the release of the academic calendar, the president maintaining that resumption of schools must be predicated on strict adherence to the health protocols, and only after agreement among all the sector players on how the guidelines are to be enforced.
I call upon the Cabinet Secretary for Education, once we have agreed on the how, he will thereafter immediately issue a calendar for the resumption of the 2020 academic year, if it is to be, or if it is going to be 2021. Hiyo ni kulingana na directives na vile tutakubaliana how.
The president now throwing the ball back to the Education Cabinet Secretary and the COVID-19 Education Emergency Response Committee to ensure a safe environment is created in all learning institutions before announcing the new 2020-2021 calendar to receive nearly 9 million learners who have been out of school for the past 6 months.
The lives of our children and their health is not a matter for debate. Learning institutions, therefore, should only be reopened when we have and can sufficiently guarantee the safety of all our children.
At Mwiki Primary School in Nairobi, all of the 68 teachers in the school reported for duty in line with the Teacher Service Commission TSC's directive. For this school, extraordinary measures will be required for its extraordinary circumstances. For its 3,551 students, the reopening date and academic calendar hangs in the balance. The school, which sits on land whose area is 84 by 86 meters, has only 41 classrooms. To meet the Ministry of Education safety guidelines such as social distancing, there is only one way: acquiring more land and having an additional 140 classrooms, each classroom with 20 desks to accommodate all the learners.
Wanafunzi wote kwa mpito mmoja haiwezekani. We can only have a class at a time. Tuseme Monday, darasa la 8, waje wasome. Tuesday, darasa la 7. Wednesday, darasa la 6.
At State House Girls, 53 teachers of the 55 turned out on reporting day. They took stock of the school's preparedness and measures to be put in place to ensure adherence to the health and safety protocol set by the Ministry of Education. Class sizes have been adjusted to ensure adherence to social distancing. Learners and trainers should not gather at one place in big numbers. Students will not participate in swimming, which is an important co-curricular activity in this school. That is, until the curve flattens. Of the essence is a supply of adequate, clean running water, liquid soap and hand sanitizer. Even in the dormitories, the beds have been arranged to ensure a distance of at least 1.5 meters apart. In the dining hall area, there are plans to mark specific areas for the students to stand in line.
If they open in phases in the way they'd suggested, we are not sure on how it's going to be announced. Yeah, we'd say we are ready. We can receive Form 4s. But to say we are ready to receive the entire school of 1,575, I would be lying.
When school gates reopen after more than 6 months of children being out, there are so many expectations and there will be many adjustments, particularly for the school children. The question is every child prepared? What will happen to those children who may be left behind? Dorcas Wangira, Citizen TV, Nairobi.